Hey everyone, Irit Ezips here for CSM Practice. We're here at the Pulse Conference, day 2, almost over.
Almost over. We've almost made it.
Almost made it. And we also have Shri here. He's the founder of Rocket Lane. Shri, thank you very much for endorsing this video series and for your generosity. And I had a really fun time with our team this entire time.
Thanks for doing this with us.
Yeah, of course. All right, Ella, Dillon, you're from Conversica. Tell us a little bit about what the company does and how are you able to leverage the tools that your Conversica has within your own CSM team to help them scale, be more productive, more efficient?
Yeah, so Conversica, when we think about Conversica, we have digital assistants. And I think the easiest way to think about it is we democratize digital assistants. So when you think about, I was talking in my session earlier yesterday about the pyramid of pressure CSMs are under, where nothing but increasingly strategic importance, doing more with less, as well as increasing or decreasing, I should say, job satisfaction. And when you put all those three things together, you have to use technology and you have to work differently, not harder. It won't work anymore, right? So we use our own digital assistants, if you will, so your CSMs, when they think about onboarding customers and how we might integrate with Rocket Lane or others, or if you think about renewals, or if you think about following up triggered health scores, either the good or the bad, or if you think about asking for advocacy, all of those require conversations with your customers. And when you think about CSMs who want to be upstream and having the very strategic conversations, but at the same time they have to watch their back or any issues they might have, they can't cover all of that. They can't have all of those conversations across their entire base, especially when everybody wants their book of business to be larger.
Right.
So you leverage our digital assistants, and we leverage our digital assistants to curate those conversations. And what we do literally is it's natural language, true AI. It's not a sequence email. Our digital assistant can read intent, reroute, answer a customer's need, and get them up to the point where they're ready to actually have your most precious human resource talk to them for what's that true relationship building or revenue driving conversation. So they really help with a lot of the administrator, a lot of the meeting scheduling, your data cleanliness, a lot of these things that your assistant can do for you on your behalf that frees you up and your precious time to actually do what's required to create value for your customer.
Okay, scheduling meetings. I think I saw something like that. Maybe it was yours. I worked with a consultant for my business, and this guy actually had he wrote something in the email, and the email replied. I knew it was like a bot or something, but I scheduled a call, so that was fine. You also talk about other use cases like data cleanup, like where? Can you give me like an example?
Yeah, let me give you like a workflow about how to make it real. So let's say, for example, someone had a poor health score. And we would launch your digital assistant and say, hey, we've seen that you actually haven't logged into your account, and we'd like to do an account review with you to make sure that all is well. Mostly people, if aren't logging in, they're not going to necessarily respond to that. So our digital assistant will persistently and consistently follow up, which is hard for a CSM to do.
Time
they're trying to do everything else, right?
You forget to do it.
You have the other shiny needle or thing that's going on. So once the person responds, the digital assistant can say, again, I'd like to follow up, natural language, read what the person says. So if the scenario says, that's fine, but I can't talk to you in 2 weeks. Some technology who just do workflow, they might respond to an out of office, but they can't read, respond, and say, fabulous, I will follow up you within 2 weeks. Our assistant reads it, understands it, follows up in 2 weeks, and then says, are you the right person to have this call with? Can I validate this is still the right number? If they say, no, I'm actually not the right stakeholder anymore, and here's the right stakeholder and number, that a digital assistant reads all that, writes it back to your CRM, which is one of the other major challenges with CS today is data hygiene and cleanliness.
Right.
Then they can help reach out to that contact or set up the meeting. So again, we're not the scheduling software, but they'll schedule it, create the link, and then write it back to your CSM's calendar. So again, your CSM has had all of this managed for them so that they can show up and have that value-added conversation with the customer.
Wow. So if I have a CRM system where I know I have contacts, I sent out a survey, half of it bounced back, I can get Conversica, the assistant, to come in and email all of them, tell me which ones are, I need to delete, or maybe even delete them for me. Go email the ones that don't bounce and ask them who the right person is. Go back to Salesforce, update it. Yes?
You can.
Kinda?
I mean, bottom line is that we're all about moving the relationship needle. So it is an incredible benefit. We're not like a data purchasing. So someone has to engage with us and say, okay, no, this is the better number for me, or X, Y, and Z. But then we will update the CRM. So
automatically.
There is this automatic cleanup. Yeah.
That's cool. Can you think about any other scenarios where you would have a virtual assistant do stuff for you?
like customers ghost you all the time, even during onboarding, right?
Yeah.
They do. And so you could leverage our virtual assistant to reach out, find out where they were. There might be a health check. You would actually sort of deploy our health check capabilities of, we see that you've gotten stuck at this milestone and we want to do a review with you to find out why. You could collect sort of key indicators. And again, because you have an onboarding team that's trying to keep to a schedule and drive value, and then they can kind of go off and cultivate it, bring the customer back into the fold for you on your behalf.
That's cool. How much customization do you actually need to have to reconfigure, I guess, the customized answers?
So one of the benefits of our platform is to run billions of these. So the AI is really smart. Now, what we do, of course, do is allow configuration. It's one of the reasons people can get up within 21 days is because there's not a bunch of configuration. Humans tend to not be very good at this, or they all want to customize everything, which might end up meaning that they don't do the right thing. It's not replicable. They have totally disparate, quote unquote, best practices across their team and whatnot. So we give a bunch of templates against the entire revenue lifecycle, depending on what your use case is. But they're configurable, right? Like we'll make sure you can get your brand in there, or there's some specific elements that you can customize to make it, of course, your brand voice.
Right.
But you get to benefit from the fact that the AI has processed billions of these and knows sort of the right way to get the best response.
Okay, that's cool. How big is your CSM team?
So we have about totally across my organization, which is not just CSMs, about 60 people.
Okay, that's including support, solution architects.
A little bit of support and professional services and some training and onboarding. And then, of course, the team, well, not of course, but the team that actually trains our AI is there too. So, humans are humans. So someone's like, I want to talk about blue fish today. The AI understandably might not have seen that scenario before, and it'll kick it out. A human will review it and train it on intent. And that's the way we kind of keep making sure that it's relevant.
Wow. Do your CSMs actually own certain accounts?
Yes.
So what's the CSM to customer ratio?
As for everybody, it depends on what segment. So up in enterprise, it could be anywhere from 5 to 10, and then down market, it'll increase.
Got it. So where do they typically use the virtual assistant most? Is it in the lower segment where you have a lot of accounts, there's no way you can do it? Or
no, we use it all up. And I think a lot of the trends that people are talking about today is digital does not just mean scale, right? And if you I was talking to a customer yesterday, their CSM might have one account. The account is so huge that within it, they in essence have 50 different departments or contacts within it. The same issues apply of how do you make sure that you're communicating with, you're canvassing, and you're capturing everything you need to know about that account. So regardless, we also leverage it up for enterprise. It's not just a scale motion anymore.
The CSMs that manage the enterprise kind of push back, and does the AI sometimes messages when they shouldn't be messaging?
No, and then a lot of this is just design. It's always very important, like when you're thinking about the entire revenue lifecycle and the customer experience journey. So we'll make sure that it's working with the workflow and the triggers that you have set up is nothing but sort of an additive to move the momentum. To answer your former questions, we don't use it yet for onboarding, and I told you about the integration things we're looking into. But we use it for renewals, we use it for health checks, we use it for advocacy requests, we use it to schedule EBRs, health checks, good or bad, NBS and other reach outs, product feedback. We actually just got innovative with ourselves. We launched our community about a month and a half ago. We used our assistant to go engage our customers and let them know about the community and get their feedback and help get them signed up there. So there's a lot of application for it.
What went up? What increased? What improved after you started using your virtual assistants with those CSMs?
Pretty much everything, right? In the sense of, again, when I was talking about the pyramid of pressure of more strategic, like you have to do expansions, I, like a bunch of other companies out there, have the pressure of expansion is now part of your critical go-to, right? So there's a lot of retooling of our team and being able to leverage our assistants to help do sort of the health alerts and programatize a lot of our actions against it. Just means we have better coverage, right, and better communication among ourselves. We do have an integration, I should say, at the Gainsight conference with Gainsight. Okay. And so we always have been able to trigger things from Gainsight, but we'll be able to write back to Gainsight. So things will show up in timeline, they'll show up in health scores, etc.
So back to my question, do you see an increase in upsells since you guys started doing this?
So I've been here since November, and we've always used it, so I don't know the before and after, but the answer is yes. So we definitely are able to impact our retention. We're able to impact our adoption, our early indicators, our early renewals. We use it for renewals as well, and expansion. So yes, we use it across our business and all those things.
What is the main feedback from the CSMs?
relief when we're using it really well. I mean, again, I don't know a CSM worth their salt who isn't spinning 10 plates of, sometimes I'm doing support, or sometimes I'm doing onboarding, or I have to train the new admin. Oh, by the way, I have to go up and go find the VP stakeholder and talk strategy. So they need help. I think there's not a CSM out there who doesn't feel like they need help.
You mentioned you're 9 months into Conversica.
Yeah.
What are the top challenges you wanted to tackle as soon as you got it?
So commonly when you come in, I think there's, again, not a CSM organization where you don't want to unpack, I'll call it time and motion. Sort of, there are a lot of kitchen sink or, spinning plates or all the things I've been saying that a CSM has to do. And so a lot of it is the right thing? Is it motion versus momentum? So the team has been teaching me a lot about all the different things that they have to do. And then we're trying to determine, should they? Should the company, what needs to be automated? What can assistants do more of? And really just actually elevate it up so we can solve it at the company level. So that's a lot of what we're doing. I came in pretty lucky. I have a pretty solid team. I didn't have a lot to change there. It's more just how do I optimize them and make them successful?
That's cool. Well, I think it's a really interesting case of how do you leverage AI to increase productivity, reduce wastage, and just really help the CSMs focus on the things that they really love doing, which is never update contacts in Salesforce.com or
creating value, right?
Yeah, creating value rather.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. Appreciate both of your time.
Thanks for joining us. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next year at Pulse Conference 2023.